Okay, we're going to show you how these, she's going to, Miss Maureen is going to show us how she does the walnuts.
So dump it out walnuts. Yeah, we're gonna dump the black walnuts in the driveway. These are huge.
They're beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah. We need just this box full.
What you want me to do?
Oh, nothing. You're the movie director. Yeah, take movies. I'm waiting for him to get the... Great. Sorry, you got it off?
No, I can turn it off for a second. We'll be back.
Go slow, Bob. Go slow. You can see how he backs back and forth across the walnut. A little bit more. Go ahead, back some more. Keep tapping. They all crack really easy.
Look at them.
Okay, stop. Now come this way just a little. Perfect. Look at that. Now turn your wheels.
Okay, we're back.
Okay, so after we run over them with the car tire in the driveway, cement might break the walnuts. I'm not sure. This is gravel here. So we just pick them up off the ground with the shucks are all off. Put them into a box or a bag. We're going to wash them. See, they're all, it just, when her friend picked them up from the ground, they were falling, and so they shucked off really easy. If you do it without gloves, you're going to have walnut stains everywhere.
It lasts about a month.
Yeah, they do. So, once we get these all shucked and washed, my hands are freezing because we're having snow today.
Oh, yeah, it's snowing right now.
Yeah. And
what does the actual walnut look like?
the actual walnut looks like a walnut. It's a black walnut. Indigenous to the United States, becoming more and more rare because they've been cutting the tree for... My nose is...
You're okay.
Does it taste like a regular walnut you find in the grocery
It's
store?
a little more pungent than a regular walnut.
The flavor is so...
Yeah.
It's hard to describe. It's not like an English walnut. These were wild, of course, and our early ancestors picked them wild and they used them in anything. All kinds of baking, cooking.
Yeah. They're good in cookies.
Cookies, cakes, frostings. After the walnut is cleaned and then washed, I guess it wouldn't be necessary to wash them real good, but then we'll set them out to dry for about 2 weeks. They shouldn't get wet. So, because if they get wet again, then it'll be harder for them to completely dry. So during the winter, then we have all this fun of shucking the walnuts, cracking and shucking the walnuts. See how easy it is?
Yeah.
When
I don't have rubber gloves on.
that's here.
I don't want to
Right,
that.
hang on. In that pocket is there rubber gloves? I think I brought
Yep,
it.
there's one.
Just one.
That's cool.
Didn't I get another one? How about we'll check that?
Yep. Oh, you got a couple. There. Goes back in there and I'll close that up.
There we
Okay.
go. So
Now I can.
it's just a fun thing. Even your kids, it's on right.
Yeah.
Even your kids can get involved with this. Gives them something to do. You learn how our early forefathers put their food away for the winter. Nuts will keep from, you could freeze them even after they're cracked, but
You can
years
keep them in the shell too.
yes,
They'll last up to like 2 or 3, even 4 years frozen in a shell.
yes, and
That's the best way to freeze them, really.
it is. But you know what? It's kind of fun through the winter. Now, when you're cracking them, like on a block with your hammer, shells fly everywhere. So come spring, when you do your spring cleaning, you'll be finding walnut shells and you'll think back, oh my gosh, through the winter we were having fun shucking what we did last fall. And it's just these anything around us that we can find for our food that's natural like this. There's some kind of a oil in these that are really good for people.
Don't they use the husk for that?
The husks are used for staining. They use the husk for staining.
They make black walnut salve or something.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. These are really beautiful big walnuts.
They are. Hopefully, like you said earlier, there'll be the meats in them.
Right. There's a few different strains of black walnuts. I know there's one called Thomas. I don't know what these are.
These are awesome.
They are. They're
How
beautiful.
easy they come. Yeah, they are.
So-
She's got more for you too.
Oh my goodness.
This would be something fun for the kids to.
Yeah. Yeah, if they had, they'd love having stains on their hand
Yeah.
going to school. So
This is fun.
yeah, it's
I can't believe it's already snowing.
know.
Grayling's supposed to get 3 inches.
oh my goodness, that's quite a bit. I love baking cakes and cookies with black walnuts because of the flavor. If you bought black walnuts in the store, which you can, they're quite expensive.
Some of these are just laying there.
Yeah, they are. That's what happens when they're this.
Oh, that's the best way to do it ever.
Yeah, and then you don't have a lot of mess with your hands
And in the gravel too, it won't stain your cement.
you know. Now sometimes you'll see, kind of little black stuff, but that'll rinse off, and when the walnut dries out, that'll all just dry right off. And this type of work here is how our forefathers put their food aside for the winter, and they probably did bushels of these, where myself, I would probably do maybe a half bushel or a bushel, and then get a whole, if we're lucky and the walnuts are really good after they dry, then you might get a quart or two of real fine walnut meats. They're very hard shells, so they're hard to dig out of the shell, but you know, carefully cracking them, and they're dried correctly.
Here's a good one for you. What's that?
Those are just like, that won't hurt anything. I started to say the black stuff and these little wormy things that come in, they dry right off and die.
They don't get in the nut.
No,
meats.
they don't get
They're
in the
kind of
nut.
like in between the
Yeah,
nut and the
in the
shell.
Yeah. Do I need to spread these out a little
Outer
more?
shell.
Yeah.
I'm moving right along, Joel.
Yeah.
Once you run
My
over,
husband and I.
it doesn't take long once you run over.
No, we've done this for years, and we just really enjoy doing it. And we're getting to the point where, you know, we're getting older, and it's harder and harder to do things like this, but I just can't give it up because we've had so much fun for years doing it. Yeah, since they're in the driveway like this, and they don't break like if they were on cement or on the asphalt road. They just kind of sink into the driveway a little bit. And see, we just walk along and pick them right up. They're right out of the shell.
Yeah.
A very simple way to do these. And
This is, I can't believe how easy this
black
is.
walnuts have a distinct smell too. It's pungent. It's hard to describe it, but it's one of those smells like, well, fall. You know, like pumpkins and leaves and all that. Black walnuts are the same. You know that winter's coming, and when you're toasty beside your fire in the winter and you're cracking on a block of wood, and when we were kids outside here sledding all around here, we'd go in our kitchen and my dad would have black walnuts and we'd sit by the wood cook stove cracking a few black walnuts for our snack.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Tell me, Miss Maureen grew up right here where we are.
Yep. Had a little house next door. Sorry about the dumpster. We just had the roof redone. They were supposed to come and pick that dumpster up, but haven't yet, so.
These are moving right along.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, of course, it's very cold today.
Oh, is it ever? It's supposed to be at least 50 this weekend.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, you can just see it's just amazing. So if you have black walnut trees and you have a good crop, which we've noticed in the wild here, they're like wild apples. Some years are bumper crops of black walnuts, just like wild apples. In other years, you won't see black walnuts on any trees around. So it just depends on the year.
These are awesome. I thank you so much for showing us this.
Oh, you're welcome, and can't wait to start cracking them to make a batch of cookies fresh out of the oven when the snow's deep outside and it's 20 degrees.
Friends, Miss Mo is the one that I was telling you about that has a whirlwind of information about pantry and canning and budgeting and stocking your pantry and, oh my God, recipes and cooking and baking and...
Well, for many years...
Yeah, they always tell me they wish I was their neighbor. I wish I was your neighbor.
Well, you are, pretty much. For many years, I did all my own butchering and made my own lard and butchered all my animals, and we had chickens. So living in town now, I really miss all that. So we still try to do as much as we can like this. We collect wild apples for applesauce, apple butter. You know, whatever you can make with what's around you helps with your food bill. And believe it or not, it's every little bit that we do for ourselves really helps our family. And our children, and even Renee's children, she did the same thing. She canned and did everything that, you know, women did 50, 60 years ago. And we're just happy to show younger women and men how to do this kind of stuff.
And grandbabies.
Yeah, and grandbabies. I think that's...
You know, grandbabies have their fingers and everything.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we need them right now.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one here. I think we got pretty much all of them, though.
I think it looks like we've got a nice box full.
I'm going to take my hands, or my gloves off, and I'm going to pan in on that box for them.
Oh, yeah.
So they can see that. All right.
You see what we got? My nose.
Okay. Yep, look at all them, friends. Oh, my goodness.
You see what we put on the ground?
Hang on. Yep.
We see what we put on the ground, and Bob, my husband, ran over
That's
them.
all the shucks.
And then we just picked them all up in a few minutes.
There's all the shucks.
We just have to wash them in a bucket of water. Then I'm going to lay them in my shed to dry for a week or two. And they'll be ready to go into an onion bag or a bag with holes to dry out for until Thanksgiving or Christmas. And then you can start shucking for your Christmas baking. So pretty wonderful, huh?
Could you just hang those in your pantry?
You could. They kind of like a cool, dry place, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah,
yeah.
You got any ideas where the cookies might be?
Yeah.
Where?
You got it off? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. She's going to show us how she washes them and gets them all taken care of. Do you want me to dump them?
Sure. We're going to dump them in the bucket.
All of them in one bucket?
Oh, some in there and some in the small there. And some in the small bucket. There we go. Okay. And we're just gonna wash them off. You can see how
Oh, hang on, I'll better move this down so they can. Yep, you can see it.
yeah, you can see how the hose just rinses them right down. We will dump them on the ground. We have to be careful because sometimes the squirrels fight you for these walnuts. Actually, we don't have many squirrels here because we don't have a lot of oak trees right here. We have one once in a while. So we'll just dump these out on the ground. And you can see already kind of how clean they got. Then we'll give them another good rinse.
I'll zoom in on them. Oh, yeah.
It's the inner shell of the bark where they get that kind of a slimy stuff on the outside of the shell, but you can see how beautiful the walnuts are. These must be a giant strain of black walnuts, maybe a Thomas, called a Thomas strain, and they're usually just very beautiful walnuts. See how nice they look?
They're gorgeous.
We're gonna,
You know what's nice is there's more coming.
yeah, yeah.
You're gonna have a lot in this small.
Yeah, well, you're going to have an onion sack for yourself so you can crack this winter and have the kids help.
Oh, I'll crack some and make,
Yeah.
I'll do a video and make chocolate chip cookies with them.
Oh, yeah, that'll be beautiful.
Ooh.
Well, we're going to leave them there for now, and then I'm going to move them over to the table in the garage so they can dry out for a couple weeks. Then we'll move them into onion bags where they have lots of holes in the bag so they can dry more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a very actually simple process, time consuming, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me share with you today.
Oh,
I
they
don't like
love it. We've got to get. They told me they want you to share more.
Yeah, I'm
We'll have a pantry chit chat one day.
awfully fluffy, so I don't like my picture put on anything much, but this was fun. Thank you.
She's amazing. All right, friends, that's it. We're all set, and we hope you had a good time watching this. And thank you. Those are what kind of beans?
These are called turkey craw.
Oh, those are cool looking.
Many years ago, in West Virginia, I believe, a hunter found
Can you
those
see
beans.
them, friends? There we go.
Found those beans in the craw of a wild turkey.
Look at how gorgeous those are.
Can you see?
Now, are these for,
Oopie.
like, could you make baked beans with these? You could?
Yeah.
Those are neat.
You can see I have just a few on the fence.
I don't know if they can see that. Oh, yeah, they can.
Can you see how they're growing? And they're ready to pick now.
You let them dry right on there.
Yep. And then I let them dry in the shed for, a couple weeks to a month. You can see in the pods how they grow. They're kind of a reddish bean with a frosty
that frost.
Yeah, a frosty color on them, and they're quite pretty. You can use them for stew and soup and baked beans. They're wonderful. They're called turkey craw. They're amazing. They're not a large bean. I think I dropped
Those
another
are neat.
one, Renee. Oh, I dropped two.
No, that was a piece of.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see. Gosh, how can you see that? I need stronger glasses or something.
Those are for you to
Oh,
take, so
really?
you can have for seed. Aren't
Oh,
they
look.
pretty? They're not quite red. I guess they're really a brown bean actually, and they're not real big. But I'm going to pick the rest of these, and
These are gorgeous. Thank you.
I'm going to show you some ones called Haditsa shield figure beans.
I was going to
next.
bring you. I'll bring you rattlesnake beans yet
Okay.
too.
I'll show you the next. There's quite a few on, so we might get if you want a few
I'll
more
just
seeds.
leave this on and we'll
Yeah.
go. We'll follow you. Her yard is gorgeous.
Still tomatoes.
Oops.
To get you.
Yeah, I'm hitting everything.
Now, Out here on this fence, we have what they call shield figure beans. Now these were grown by the Haditsa Indians along the Missouri River in North Dakota and the Eureka Native Americans many years ago. You can see these are a large bean.
Oh, yeah, I seen that one you dropped.
You can see, I don't know if you can
Those are
hold-
gorgeous.
They're a bigger bean, and
I can hold those up.
they make wonderful soup and baked beans or stew.
Are they good growers? I mean, do they produce a lot? Well, it looks like they do.
They're
The rattlesnake beans I grew produced a ton.
these are extremely prolific growers. They really produce. If you had a long fence, they're beautiful when they're in bloom and the leaves are big. And then when we had quite a bit of rain, but I see they're drying out quite well. So I've got to get them picked now. But see how big these beans are.
Yeah, these beans are. Look at them. Look at the brown in them.
Yeah,
They're gorgeous.
And there's a red Haditsa or shield figure.
Look at your tomatoes. You still got tomatoes
I
on there.
know. It's a shame. We've been picking them, and I dried quite a few.
Do you ever make tomato powder?
Well, I was going to, but I put it what I dried. I put for soup. I dried some of my red onions and the tomatoes. Yeah, see how beautiful those are?
Yes, I just think those are big and gorgeous.
And if you just had a fence in your yard, and if that's all you have is a yard, because that's what we do. And don't mind the weeds, folks. Sorry about the weeds.
That's all right. It's gorgeous.
And, yeah.
These are beautiful.
Yeah, they are they're very tasty. Some of them have a little red belly. Some have brown spotted.
Yeah. Okay, you can see that little red belly up by my finger. That little red bellied one.
I use these in baked beans and soup,
Oh my gosh.
and they're gorgeous. And you can grow these. Like I should have put more fence in to have a bunch more.
You still couldn't you? Next year. Oh, you got
Yeah, I
room
got
over
some
there.
over there I can move.
I'm gonna
but
put these
put
for,
those
some
in
of
your-
these for me.
Yeah, they're all for you. You can give
my
to your
gosh.
friend. They're shield figure. Haditsa, the name of a
I'll
Native
share.
American.
I'll share them. There's a couple of the gals on here on my YouTube channel that
Yeah.
I'm gonna send some beans to.
Yeah, I got to come out and get these picked and get them in the box where they can dry. In case we get more rain, I don't want them to mold.
Now,
They're-
what happens if you get, like the little girls picked some that were big, but I was saving them, but they weren't quite dry. Are they ruined now, or can? Yeah, they're
they
ruined.
probably wouldn't be any good for replanting if you saved them for a soup, because you can't really eat these when they're green like you can some beans. If you pick them early, you can eat the inside, the beans.
Right. I meant, could they still dry?
You could try it,
Oh.
but if they're green, kind of,
Nah, yeah, they were.
if they're not ripe in the pod, they won't dry correctly.
Ooh,
So
what kind of tomatoes are those? The
Well,
yellow ones.
they're just an orange, little cherry tomatoes. We've had one frost, I think, the other night.
Can I eat it? still,
Yeah,
or no?
try it.
Oh, they're
They
good.
just grow and grow and grow. And
Oh my gosh, they're sweet.
Oh yeah.
Nothing better than grazing in a garden.
Here.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
that's no good. Try that one. Oh, that's not right.
No, eat it anyway. It's good. It looks yummy.
I like to grow heirloom tomatoes, and so we've had mortgage lifters and German Johnsons, but we just have the little raised beds and enough for our table for the summer.
I'd be out here at the salt shaker. I remember when I was little, my grandparents grew a huge garden, and Grandpa had the spigot right on the side of the house. I'll move that. And we used to always get the salt shaker,
Oh yeah.
and he'd be washing the cucumbers and the tomatoes, and we'd be just eating them as fast as he could wash them.
Yeah, just a little bit, even if you have a tub. Like Renee grew a garden in
Containers.
straw bales and tubs, and I've
I
grown.
need to get a drip irrigation because it didn't work as well.
I know here too. It really needs it, but it's good for the body. It's good for the soul to have a garden. And
And she's got a beautiful yard.
yeah, most people.
Too bad they couldn't have seen. Well, maybe next summer you'll give us a tour.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can come for a tour.
Look at that beautiful birdhouse.
It sure needs repair.
The little birdhouses. It's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
We still got flowers. I still got my marigolds too.
Yeah. We didn't get a hard freeze, but just enough.
I wanted to make a wreath because I got the, see this crabapple tree here? I wanted to make like a fall wreath and use some of the little crab apples.
You could take a couple sprigs of those and
Yeah.
cut them if you want.
No, I got one at home that,
Oh, do you?
yeah, it's just loaded.
Trouble is, they might fall off quick.
That's why I didn't do it
Yeah.
because I didn't know how to preserve them. I think maybe I need to dry them first.
You know, when the cedar waxwings come home in the spring, they will descend on these trees out here. There's 3 of them, and they will strip those little
Berries.
berries off there in about 2 or 3 days, and then they'll be on their way farther north. So this year is an extremely good crop of these little ornamental crab apples.
My battery's gonna die.
Okay, just in
We
time.
say thank you, Miss Mo.
Bye, everybody. Yeah.